Let's take the first piece first, the Jeremy Hope fumble. Marshall Faulk, your thoughts on that?
There's never a time you want to fumble a football, but in that moment, that's when, as a runner of the ball, you take care of the football. Because I've said it many a times, everybody hopes and dreams is in that football when you're carrying it. You never want to put it on the turf. Everybody's hopes and dreams, and maybe jobs, were on the line. And Jeremy Hill, at a time like that, put the ball on the ground.
And then, Steve, real quick, the idea that Marvin should have taken 3 knees, kicked a field goal, made sure the Steelers burned all their timeouts instead of handing it to Jeremy Hill all.
That would have been the safe way to do it, obviously, but he's trying to get first down and run it all out and everything, finish the game. And I felt bad for Jeremy Hill because he's a good kid and he's had a good young career. And
in the presser, when Mike Silver asked him that question, and he said we were not in field goal range. And when I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then maybe he didn't know where they were on the field. When we were watching the replay, I was like, that's the 26-yard line.
Yeah, it would have been a 43-yard field goal if you just kicked it straight from there.
How about just tip our hat to Jeremy Hill, though? I know he felt horrible, but I love the way that he handled the press conference and came out with class and what he did at the end. He was a professional afterwards. And I know he feels horrible today, but I tip my hat to the way he handled the situation.
Is that a penalty on Burfict, Irv? What do you think?
Well,
by rule it is, but do you think
it's a penalty?
What do you think about this, though?
We're trying to legislate that out of the game, and I thought Murphy could have pulled up and not even had taken the swing at hitting him. The ball was clearly overthrown, so that was an issue, and that started the whole thing. It started the whole thing, and he had played exceptionally well up to that point. I mean, he was the reason they were winning this football game. I mean, he made the hit on Ben Roethlisberger, making the sack, and then turned around and got that interception. Just pull up there if you can. The ball was clearly already overthrown. So that was sad. And it was sad to see them lose the game that way. You know, A.J. McCarron comes back in and drives them down the football field, did a great job. You know, I actually thought when Ben Roethlisberger came back in the game, like, what are you doing back in the game? Why were you on the sideline that long if you're coming back in the game?
I was wondering what that is.
Medication needed to start working.
Well, while we're on the subject of being on this, why are you on the sideline? Why wasn't Joey Porter on the sideline? What was Joey Porter doing out there? And I was wondering that on Twitter last night, and I got a whole bunch of people tweeting back at me saying that he had concern for Antonio Brown, and that's why assistants are allowed out there. But he wasn't like a doctor without border out there on his knee, making sure that Antonio Brown was okay. He was surrounded by 7 Cincinnati Bengals.
But I think we all know if you go into a situation like that and you're at concern for a friend of yours, a guy that you felt took a cheap shot, I believe it started that way and then it went beyond that, which I think it would for any normal person. But I go back to Vontaze Burfict, and I'll continue to say that we are what our past says we are. And we're not different until our past says we're something different. And I believe all the issues that he's had, you watch that game, he was pushing it or going over the line the entire game. And so you get to that point and you take that shot and you drop your shoulder, I believe with the intention to hit that man, even though he knew the ball was out. Now, I'm not saying he's trying to hurt anybody. I believe he's trying to make a statement like he did the rest of the game by pushing it too far, and it was a penalty. And I believe that's what cost them this game. But it is what it says it is. He continues to have these issues, and he had them the entire game. And we can't just –
Perfect. How far is that field goal?
We can't just forget that.
With just his penalty.
Well, it would have been a 50-yard field goal with just his penalty.
Try that one.
But how is
Let's
it a
not
penalty?
get another 15 yards.
I understand Adam Jones went and contacted the official to trying to get to Joey Porter. The question is, if you are the second, third man in an argument, or the first man in on an argument, and you contact an official that's 15 yards, but what if you're having an argument with somebody who has no business being on the field
That's a good question, Rich. And I'm trying.
No, they do when usually when coaches come out of the all coaches come out on the field. Usually it's when everybody's out on the field and somebody's down on the ground and there is no back and forth going on between players.
I didn't see one Bengals coach on the field talking to a Pittsburgh Steelers player when Gio Bernard got knocked out.
Right.
I saw none of that.
Right now, guys.
Marvin did a good job keeping his guys on the sideline when that happens.
The league is making a concerted effort. I'm talking about player safety. Not, when somebody's down, to just allow the doctors and trainers to be around that guy. Everybody else stay back. We're talking about keeping them out of there by 10 yards. That's players, that's everybody, okay? And I don't ever remember seeing an assistant coach going out there to see a receiver. Can I summarize this game?
Please.
Because this game, to me, watching this game, and I'm sure a lot of people at home feel the same way, this went from a classic to a classless game, starting with the right over here with this no-fly zone, all right? How about Coach Mike Munchak pulling the hair of Reggie Nelson, right? What's up with that? That's a penalty. What's another assistant coach, Joey Porter, doing on the field when a receiver is hurt? He prompted this penalty by Pac-Man, okay? How about these Bengal fans throwing stuff at Ben Roethlisberger when he's getting carted off with an injury? That's BS, all right? I'm telling you that right now. And there was more than that, Rich. How about when Burfict intercepts the ball? Game should have been over. He runs out the tunnel. All right, he's halfway to the locker room. That should have been a delay of game penalty. There were so many things in that game that were classless. I feel bad for everybody involved. Both head coaches had trouble. You had assistants with penalties, but Marvin Lewis trying to control his players, and it was an ugly game to watch, and I hated to see that for the National Football League because that game did not represent the Shield.
I don't even know what the league could do about something like that, right? I mean, other than revisit the issue afterwards about some of the things that you're talking about, Steve.
I'm going to say this. Burfict has an awful history in our league at plays like that, and we could vilify him. But at some point in time, and you have to understand this, played the game a long time, when you put the onus on one guy whose job it is to get the ball out, knock the ball loose, make the tackle, that is his responsibility. How he hit, when he's hitting a player, where he hit a player, it's difficult. Because every time I watch it, the hit is awful. It's awful, and they're always awful. I just was counting the steps to see how many more steps did he take before contact was made. And then as we continue to say the overthrow, I try to see, did he look back to see where the ball was? And I never see him look back at the ball. And I'm trying to see how many steps. It's one step. I don't know what. If he wanted to just possibly end Antonio Bryant's career, he could have there.
But that doesn't mean.
Kurt, I'm not saying that he's right. I'm just saying what we ask the defenders to do,
Deion said
and
the
who
same
we
thing
put the
last night.
responsibility on, and the guys sitting in the competition committee, what they keep saying they're out for. I watched an awful hit on a running back, Gio Bernard, with the crown of the helmet. And if it's not an egregious hit, then it's a fumble. Guess what it was? A fumble. Why? Is it because it's a running back? I don't know. But if you're going to call these hits and you want the game to be safe, understand what you're saying. And don't only have the hit because it's a receiver downfield. Because if it's a running back 5 yards removed from the line of scrimmage, it hurts just as much.
Yeah, that was the crown of the helmet that Shazier hit Gio Bernard with in that game. And there was no penalty. It was a fumble instead. And this is something, again, that the league told Ian Rappaport that they are going to be looking into as anything else with unsportsmanlike conduct. Whether penalized or not during the game, it's reviewed for possible discipline as per our standard protocol. And what that means for Vontaze Burfict, according to Ian, a possible suspension because he's a repeat offender, and Porter faces a fine for trash talking for being out there, potentially.